Welcome back to Speak English Like a Pro. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with me today because we're about to dive headfirst into something truly exciting, something that I know can feel like the magic key to unlocking your confidence and fluency. We're going to talk about how you can powerfully transform your vocabulary, and yes, do it in just 7 days. Now, before you think this sounds like some impossible, too good to be true promise, let me be crystal clear. We're not talking about memorizing every word in the dictionary overnight. What we are going to explore are some incredibly smart, actionable, and truly game-changing strategies that, when you apply them consistently over the next week, will dramatically expand your active vocabulary and, crucially, help you use those new words with confidence, making your English feel richer, more precise, and undeniably more professional. You see, for so many of us, learning new words can feel like a never-ending uphill battle. We might scribble them down in a notebook, look up their definitions, maybe even repeat them a few times, but then when it comes to actually using them in a real conversation, they just vanish. They sit passively in our minds, understood when we hear them, but stubbornly absent when we try to speak. It's like having a beautiful library inside your head, but you can't quite remember which book is on which shelf when you need it. That feeling of wanting to express yourself perfectly, of having a precise idea but only being able to use a very basic word for it, can be incredibly frustrating. And honestly, it holds so many of us back from truly speaking English like a pro. But what if I told you there's a way to change that? A way to move words from that passive understanding to active, confident use, quickly? It's not about brute force memorization. It's about smart, strategic engagement with words, making them truly yours. The first big secret to this 7-day vocabulary transformation is to stop just collecting words and start owning them through context and connection. Many of us make the mistake of learning words in isolation. We see ubiquitous, look up present everywhere, and move on. But for a word to become part of your active vocabulary, it needs friends. It needs connections. When you encounter a new word, don't just write it down. Try to find it in a sentence, in a real-life example. If you hear ubiquitous, maybe you then seek out sentences like, smartphones are becoming increasingly ubiquitous. Now, your brain has a hook, a real-world scenario. Even better, try to connect it to words you already know, or to an image in your mind. Is there something in your life that feels ubiquitous? Perhaps tea in India, for instance. This deeper connection is what helps your brain store the word in a way that makes it retrievable for speaking. Building on that, the next powerful strategy for this week is to focus relentlessly on words that matter to your life and your goals. Forget trying to learn a random list of 100 words a day that might not be relevant to you. Instead, think about the topics you discuss most often: your job, your hobbies, your family, current events you care about. If you're an engineer, immerse yourself in engineering-related English content. If you love cooking, seek out cooking shows and recipes in English. When you encounter new words within your areas of interest, they become immediately relevant and useful. This drastically increases your motivation to learn them and, crucially, your opportunities to use them. For these 7 days, try to intentionally seek out content, podcasts, YouTube videos, articles that align with your passions. As you consume this content, pay close attention to the specific vocabulary used. These are the words you'll genuinely want to own. Now, here's where the true transformation begins. You need to actively use these words, immediately and repeatedly, in as many ways as possible. This is the non-negotiable step to move words from passive understanding to active use. When you learn a new word or notice one you want to own, don't just understand it. Say it out loud. Repeat it a few times. Then, and this is critical, create your own sentences with it. Not just one, try 3 or 5 different sentences. Make them personal, make them silly, make them memorable. For example, if your word is resilient, don't just think it means strong. Say, my old phone is surprisingly resilient, or I want to be more resilient in the face of challenges, or the team showed a resilient spirit after the loss. This active creation forces your brain to retrieve and manipulate the word, embedding it deeply. Another incredible technique to accelerate this process within our 7 days is to engage in what I call micro-conversation practice with your new words. This doesn't mean you need a native speaker 24 hours a day. Your own voice recorder is your best friend here. At the end of each day, or perhaps during a short break, pick 3 to 5 of the new words you encountered that day. Then hit record and simply talk about your day, incorporating those new words naturally into your narrative. For example, today was quite a hectic day, but I managed to get a lot done. I felt really motivated after my morning coffee, and I think I showed some resilience during that difficult meeting. This forces spontaneous use and helps you integrate the new vocabulary into your natural speaking patterns. Listen back if you like, just to hear how you sounded, but the main goal is the act of speaking with those new words. You're creating your own personal speaking lab, making those words active. And don't forget the power of word pairing and chunking for naturalness. Fluent speakers don't just use single words. They use natural combinations, collocations, and common phrases. When you learn a new noun, try to learn a common adjective that goes with it. For example, don't just learn decision, learn tough decision, wise decision, or make a decision. Don't just learn challenge, learn face a challenge or overcome a challenge. When you learn words in these chunks, it makes your English sound much more natural and fluent, and it speeds up your speaking because your brain is retrieving a whole phrase instead of individual words. Pay attention to these pairings in the content you consume. If you hear significant impact, try to remember significant with impact, not just important with impact. This builds a more authentic and accessible vocabulary for real conversation. Finally, for this intense 7-day transformation, you need to be ruthlessly consistent and forgivingly patient with yourself. This isn't about perfection by day 7. It's about building powerful habits that will continue long after this week is over. Dedicate even just 15 to 20 minutes a day specifically to these active vocabulary strategies. Don't let a missed day derail you. Just pick it up the next day. The magic of 7 days isn't about achieving full mastery, but about creating an intense burst of focused learning that shifts your approach and shows you how quickly you can make progress when you apply the right strategies. It's about building momentum and demonstrating to yourself that significant change is possible. When you see how much your active vocabulary grows and how much more confidently you use new words in just one focused week, it will motivate you to continue this new way of learning. So, this week, starting today, I invite you to join me on this mini challenge. Stop simply trying to understand words and start actively owning them. Connect them. Use them in your relevant contexts. Create sentences, speak them out loud, record yourself, and pay attention to natural pairings. Watch how your vocabulary transforms, not just in size, but in its active availability for your speaking. You have the power to truly unlock a richer, more expressive English voice. If you're ready to embark on this 7-day vocabulary transformation, if this conversation has sparked a new way of thinking about how you learn words, please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it generously with anyone who's frustrated with their passive vocabulary, and of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you don't miss any more powerful insights from Speak English Like a Pro.